Hello. Good evening. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming to our Community Foundation meeting tonight. I have to say it's so fun to see so many familiar faces in the room, and it feels like you're at a wedding or a fun graduation party or something really exciting, because everybody that you see, you only get to see maybe a couple times a year, and this event is one of them. It's really nice to see that Ken Fisher has taken up a new dress code in his new retirement, so we want to thank him for for showing up in his new casual attire. My name is Michelle Crum. I've been able to serve as chair of the board for the last 2 years, and it has been just an honor beyond belief. I gush whenever I talk about the Community Foundation. It is just the most incredible board, incredible staff to work with, and a great mission and great people, and that's all because of everybody in this room as well. So thank you for letting me serve as your board chair for the last 2 years. With that, we're excited to share with you what's going on in the foundation and in the community. We're going to tell you all about what's going on, what the Community Foundation's role is in improving the quality of life. Really, we probably touch everybody in this community in one way or another, and I think you'll see that with the presentation tonight. It's an exciting presentation. We've got to see many old friends in the audience, and now that we've made this a community meeting, we have a lot of new friends here that may not know a whole heck of a lot about us, and so we're excited to share with you what we're all about, so hopefully you get to know us a little bit better. Our mission is to enrich the quality of life in Washtenaw County through philanthropy. We touch every aspect of philanthropy in Washtenaw County, and our charitable assets are the product of over half a century of giving by local residents. All the funding that's in the Community Foundation comes from you and the people before you. That's why you're given seed packets tonight. I don't know if everybody saw the seed packets on the tables or they were given a seed packet when they came in, but those are important. That's one that you should pick up if you can get a chance to on your way out. These seed packets represent the story of the Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation. The seeds were planted many years ago by local residents, and they'll continue to bear fruit for this wonderful county that we serve in for years to come. We're so grateful for the support that makes this possible today. We're honored to carry forward the legacy of decades of giving by thousands, literally thousands of donors. It's pretty impressive. We're very grateful for the group of supporters who've made this evening possible. First of all, I hope you enjoyed all the refreshments and the wonderful music by the Community High Jazz Band. If we could give them a round of applause. And you're also going to hear more about crowd granting, which is made possible by our supporters. For now, I want to officially thank all the supporters. You see them up on the screen here. The Martin Family Foundation, the Sarnes Family, Highland, Telemus, and Zingerman's Community of Businesses. Without these sponsors, this night wouldn't be possible. So thank you so much to our supporters. We really appreciate it. Now, I don't have an actual baton to pass over, but I do have the pleasure tonight of passing the baton to our incoming board chair, Tim Wadhams. Any organization is only as good as the people that it serves. This has been such a pleasure to preside over. I'm pleased that there's such a strong team with such an amazing leader that Tim will be. I asked him if he needed any pointers or help, and he said he thinks he's got it now, so I think he's been trained over the last couple of years, and he's ready to take over. So please help me in congratulating Tim Wadhams and welcome him to the podium.
Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that. And thank all of you. I'd like to join Michelle in welcoming you to the annual meeting this year. We've got a great turnout. Certainly appreciate the fact that you're all here with us. I want to take a second and thank Michelle publicly for the job she's done over the course of the last couple of years. She's provided outstanding leadership, done a great job in terms of leading us through a strategic planning process that was very robust. We've got a great plan and a lot of momentum as we head into the future. So Michelle, we really appreciate that, and I think we ought to give her a round of applause. This is our board of trustees. As Michelle mentioned, an outstanding board. very engaged, very committed, very dedicated, very passionate about the foundation and the community. A lot of expertise here, a variety of skills that come together to do just a tremendous job for the foundation and the community that is so important to all of us. So we really appreciate everything this board has done, and I'd like to thank them all personally. Take this opportunity because it's been a great couple of years with this group. We have some trustees that are going to rotate out. Rotation of board members is obviously a best practice. We will miss these 4 individuals, Jennifer, Sam, who represents the Youth Council, Kevin and Levi. They've provided a lot of insight and perspective over the course of my 2 years on the board, back on the board, and have made many contributions to the foundation's success. So we'll miss them going forward. We're very, very fortunate that we've got an extremely strong class of trustees coming in. That includes Karen, Sean, Bryn, Lynn, and Michael. And obviously a group that many of you know of some of these, or maybe a couple of them, but have been very active in the community in a variety of different capacities with different nonprofits, provide a lot of leadership and focus. And I would say, I think I'd like to call your attention to the gentleman second from the left. Sean, in my former life, once you got to age 50, we kind of had a rule you had to stop using your high school picture. So we'll work on that next year to see if we can't get that updated. In addition, we've got a new slate of officers. As Michelle mentioned, I'm taking over as chair. Very honored and privileged to do that. We've got a great team, Doug Weber, Cindy, and Marie stepping into new roles. I'd like to congratulate them and certainly look forward to working with them and the staff. I have an excellent staff, as Michelle mentioned, to continue to lead the foundation forward. In your program, there is a reference to the Youth Council. And if you would take a look, we've got several members of the Youth Council that are graduating and will be moving off of the Youth Council. The Youth Council consists of 25 diverse high school students from across our community. It's a real gem for the foundation. I mean, it's a really neat aspect of what we do. The Youth Council has $80,000 roughly at their discretion to grant in terms of various grants that are submitted. They do an excellent job of due diligence, an excellent job of thoughtfulness in terms of determining the allocation of those grants. And those grants go specifically to youth programs and youth projects across our community. And I'd like to have them stand and recognize them real quick. Please. As I said, they do an outstanding job throughout the year, and in fact have stepped up in a big way tonight to help us with some of the different administrative duties and sign in and that type of thing to help make this work as well as it has. And with that, I appreciate, again, your attendance. We're going to turn it over to our President and CEO, Neil Hajra. Neil?
Thanks, Tim. Let me start by observing that for obvious reasons, Tim and I couldn't get away with using our high school pictures on the big screen. That's just a side observation. More seriously, on behalf of the staff, we really want to recognize the quality of our board. They are engaged, they are thoughtful, and actually they push back at all the right times. We really appreciate it, and we are lucky indeed. I've lived my entire life in Washtenaw County, and I remain thrilled and honored to serve this region and all of you through the Community Foundation. What I'm really excited about tonight is seeing so many new faces. Some of you folks who've known us for a long time invited new friends. We really appreciate that. Just so you know, whether you've been engaged with the foundation in the past or not, you are all welcome tonight, and we work on all of your behalfs every day to enrich the quality of life in Washtenaw County. Since we do have some new folks in the room, let's take a moment and talk about the Community Foundation model. It's actually a century old. It started in Cleveland, Ohio, so there's one redeeming quality for Ohio, and it's since spread across the world. It's literally across the entire globe. At the heart of our work is the concept of permanent community capital. As Michelle mentioned, we're the stewards of over 50 years of community generosity, and our goal is to ensure that all of those donations to our permanent funds are invested prudently so that they produce grants and scholarships forever. Think about that for a minute, just how amazing that is. What that means is the gifts that we received as a young organization back in the 60s continue to be put to work today. We are an ever-extending bridge between the generations, representing so many years of community commitment by all of you and our predecessors. Of course, the permanent capital is only as meaningful as the impact we can make with it. This impact is often realized in the form of the over 850 grants and scholarships that we distribute every year. Our grant making touches every nook and cranny of the nonprofit sector and reflects the diverse values of our community, which we're really, really proud of. Our model doesn't stop there. The third stool of the Community Foundation model is what actually sets us apart from private foundations. We are committed to being a broad, ongoing platform for community philanthropy. We engage hundreds of donors every year in helping them achieve their philanthropic goals, and we also promote general philanthropic values through groups like our Youth Council as a service to nonprofits and to the community. Making the most of these three defining characteristics takes a team that is skilled, that's collaborative, and that's flexible. And we have a terrific staff at the Community Foundation. They're the team that I like to call the impact engine. And despite our very different skill sets and personalities, we all get along really well. We laugh with each other. We laugh at each other. And my only quibble with the staff is they don't laugh enough at my jokes. That's pretty much it. And see, they were stone-faced for that one as well, so you just can't win. Even with a strong staff, we really can't get it done, and we really mean this, without the support of over 400 community volunteers. That's right, 400. They help us with everything from overseeing the competitive distribution of grants and scholarships to helping us steward our valuable assets and helping us grow those assets. We hope that this vast list that you'll find in your program just convinces you that everything we do is community-driven and involves community members. We are truly by the community, of the community, and for the community. Just as we try to amplify our impact through volunteers, we also try to amplify our impact through strategic engagement with other institutions in our area who love the community just as much as we do. So let's take a moment and highlight just how deeply embedded the concept of partnership is in the DNA of the foundation. Probably the best illustration of our collaborative mindset is Coordinated Funding, a nationally unique collaborative of 7 public and private funders dedicated to strengthening the local social safety net. Now, I know I'm a biased townie, but don't just take my word for it. We continue to get inquiries from all over the country on how such disparate and different funders have set aside what are traditionally very wide divides in philosophies and approaches to grant making and community change. All of the coordinated funders have learned to leverage our unique strengths, and we all continually coalesce around our common goals to make a community the better place for all. We've been at it for over 6 years. We've won 2 national awards along the way, but most important, collectively, we're starting to understand what it really takes to move the needle on our most challenging community issues. We're also thrilled with a new partnership that is officially maturing this year from pilot to standing collaboration. Washtenaw Futures, which is our county's local college access network, Eastern Michigan University, and Washtenaw Community College have teamed up to absolutely revolutionize the way our foundation approaches helping local students obtain college degrees. Through this partnership, we start off with multi-year scholarship commitments to scholars. That means up to 5 years of continuous support for local students attending colleges. Thank you. We don't stop there. We pair that multi-year commitment with a success coach who works with every one of our scholars for the duration of their college careers to help them navigate all of the barriers, as many of you know, that goes beyond just getting the grades. We're very excited about this community scholarship program, and in a few minutes, my colleague Shelley Strickland will tell you more about that. Another series of partnerships, our newest series, is actually was initiated in 2016 and focuses on what we're calling our community voice work. This work seeks to engage directly with community members to hear from them about their aspirations in life, as well as the daily challenges they face in trying to seek those aspirations. We're gradually incorporating community voice into all of our planning efforts. Our first partnership focused on community health needs and was funded by the Michigan Health Endowment Fund and executed through the excellent leadership of the Public Health Department. Over the coming years, you're going to see us expand the circles of partners we're working with around the idea of community voice, and we're just as excited to see some of our community volunteer groups also take this on. For example, the Ypsilanti Area Community Fund, which is a terrific affiliate of the Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation, is actively working right now to incorporate community voice into their goals for Ypsilanti. The most recent step we've taken was funded by the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation. The Wilson Foundation enabled us to start last year, and it's ongoing, a series of conversations with seniors, mostly vulnerable seniors, who live throughout Washtenaw County. We're listening to them about their daily lives, and we're thinking about how philanthropy can enhance their daily experiences. To conduct these senior conversations, we're working with great partners such as Jewish Family Services and the University of Michigan's Ginsberg Center. And speaking of local seniors, although the Foundation's particular role is a temporary one, we really want to take this opportunity to celebrate what we think is one of the great acts of community generosity in recent memory. As some of you know, recently a local nonprofit gem, Glacier Hills Senior Living Community, joined forces with Trinity Health Senior Communities, which is part of the national Trinity Health Network. Together, Glacier Hills and Trinity have committed what we believe to be the largest charitable gift ever dedicated to seniors across Washtenaw County. So we wanted to take this opportunity to recognize some representatives tonight. Please hold your applause until we tell you just how big of a deal this is. So let's start with the recently retired President and CEO of Glacier Hills, Ray Rabideau. Ray, please stand. Ray is also the chair of the Joint Glacier Committee that's charged with seeing through this tremendous act of generosity. Next to Ray is Margie Reynolds. Margie, if you'd join Ray in standing. Margie represents the board of Glacier Hills, and she is the board chair. If there are any other Glacier Hills trustees out there, and I'm not sure if there are, please stand at this time because what we want to tell you, oh, and there's Connie right up there. What we want to tell you, and there's Paul, is that Glacier and Trinity have committed, are you ready for it? $18.5 million for the future needs of seniors throughout Washtenaw County with a focus on vulnerable seniors. That's worthy of applause indeed. So you've heard us talk a little bit about our budding and new community voice project that we really want to enhance. You've heard us talk also about the importance of partnerships, and we want to keep finding new partners to amplify our work. All of that takes more capacity at the foundation itself, including physical capacity. So to tell you more, I'm pleased to introduce to you our Chief Financial Officer and Vice President of Operations, who joined us in January, Jamie Hunter.
Thank you, Neil. While my work is a little bit more behind the scenes, I do look forward to meeting all of our supporters and partners, and I'm proud to have been a resident of Washtenaw County for 14 years now. Although some of the older folks at our church would say we're still rookies at 14 years, but I'm also proud to be working with all of the wonderful staff at the Community Foundation as well. As Neil said, our vision is for all of our activities to be infused with community partnerships and community voice. It highlights the importance for the foundation to be an effective community convener. By convener, we mean that we want to be a conduit for bringing different groups together around our shared goals of advancing the impact of philanthropy in Washtenaw County. Until recently, we've been limited not by our vision, but by our physical capacity for convening residents, nonprofits, and partners around topics of common interest. So naturally, we decided to tear some walls down. The result has been a lot of noise, a lot of dust, and now an incredible new space for community convening. We thank the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation and several other supporters for fully funding the expansion of our conference room. We're also excited to share that another set of donors has encouraged us to enhance the rest of our space along the same lines as we've enhanced the conference room. While it means even more dust and noise in the coming months, we can't wait to show you guys the results. In fact, stay tuned this summer when we'll announce a fall open house to welcome all of you to come in, meet our staff and board, and see the results of a year-long process to enhance our office capacity for even more community work. Of course, all of this internal expansion only matters to the extent that it generates more positive change outside of our walls. So let's shift our focus to our external work. To tell you more, I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Shelley Strickland, our Vice President for Development.
Thank you, Jamie. I'd please invite my colleagues and friends before I call you out. There are plenty of expensive seats down front, too. So, at our annual community meeting last year, we announced the launch of our community scholarship program with a $1 million gift from an anonymous donor new to the Community Foundation. As Neil mentioned a moment ago, the Community Scholarship Program was carefully designed based on research and a close partnership with Washtenaw Futures, the local college access network hosted by the Intermediate School District. Local data from Washtenaw Futures confirmed national findings that 3 groups stand to benefit the most from higher education degrees, yet often lack the resources to achieve them. Students from low-income families, students of color, and students of first-generation college students. Our community scholarship program provides multi-year scholarships for students from these 3 populations because research shows that the later years of college are the hardest to find support. Because our goal is not to distribute scholarships, but rather to graduate students, the Community Scholarship Program, as Neil mentioned, also provides a success coach who assists the scholarship recipients in their transition to higher education. The success coach, who acts as a dedicated mentor, also supports the students' goals and interests and helps them to access the opportunities available on their college campuses and is a resource for students throughout their college experience. We will still honor the commitments and lasting legacies of the dozens of other scholarship programs that we had in place prior to the launch of the Community Scholarship Program. In fact, we want to focus on one of those scholarship programs right now. Douglas A. Moffitt has been a friend of the Community Foundation for more than 15 years. On a personal and professional level, Doug believes in the power of planning and the impact of a powerful legacy. After the life of Doug's 16-year-old sister, a popular, attractive, and outgoing student and athlete was cut tragically short in 1992, the Moffitt family established the Beth Moffitt Memorial Scholarship Fund with the goal of $50,000 in assets. Today, this endowment stands at more than $250,000 and has awarded significant scholarships of $70,000 to more than 25 recipients. In addition to the power of endowment and long-time returns, The fund has also benefited from Doug's diligent efforts to continue to grow the fund through an annual golf outing, which just happened this past weekend, and through the faithful contributions of friends, family, and his colleagues at Northwestern Mutual. In fact, the Northwestern Mutual Foundation has recognized the extraordinary commitment of time and energy that Doug has given to the community in many ways, particularly through nurturing the Beth Moffitt Memorial Scholarship Fund. I am pleased to announce that Doug Moffitt is one of only 15 finalists nationwide and the only one from Washtenaw County area to receive the 2016 Outstanding Community Service Award from the Northwestern Mutual Foundation, which also provided a $15,000 contribution to the Beth Moffitt Memorial Scholarship Fund in honor of Doug's community service. Doug, would you let us recognize you and say a few words?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shelley. I honestly feel I would not be up here accepting a community service award if I was not part of such an outstanding community. I am so fortunate to work for Northwestern Mutual and to work out of an Ann Arbor office with colleagues who support me in so many ways, including faithful gifts to Beth's Scholarship Fund and supporting the golf outing annually. I want to name names, but I'm afraid I will leave off many. So let me just say I'm so grateful for my family, friends, colleagues, and even people who didn't know Beth, but who believe in the power of community. Community service implies that I am doing work, but I truly consider it an honor to give back to others. I am so grateful for this additional support from the Northwestern Mutual Foundation and to the Community Foundation for their partnership. Thank you.
Doug, it's an honor to recognize you and your family, and we are honored to carry on yet another legacy. When the founding $1 million gift was announced for the Community Scholarship Program last year, it came with a $250,000 challenge, dollar-for-dollar match for new funds to the Level the Playing Field Fund within the Community Scholarship Program, with the goal to literally level the playing field fund for students with financial need graduating from local public high schools. The power of this new program with multi-year scholarships and the Success Coach was especially validated for us when Doug Moffitt created a new scholarship under this umbrella to honor his late father and stepmother, the Don and Paula Moffitt Memorial Scholarship Fund. This is just one of many amazing stories of funds created this year thanks to the challenge match. You will see examples on your screen, along with a picture of Don and Paula Moffitt, and I want to highlight another new scholarship. Our community was all moved by the tragic loss of high schooler Justin Tang last fall. What was missing from news coverage that focused on the crosswalk was this young man's amazing attributes and zest for life. His fellow students and teachers from Community High School, including just named Washtenaw County Teacher of the Year, Quinn Strassel, who is actually here and cut short a parent meeting to be here tonight. So along with many family and friends, all under the leadership of the Community Theater, our Community Ensemble Theater Booster Club, are carrying on Justin's legacy with the Justin Tang Memorial Scholarship to End Fear. So you can learn more about Justin and his fearlessness through a fun description on our website. Thanks to the Community Ensemble Theater Booster Club, Doug Moffitt, and many other donors of all gift levels, I can announce that the $250,000 challenge has been met. The Community Scholarship Program is truly by the community and for the community. I'm also excited to share that because of the way the community has truly embraced this community scholarship program, that another donor is interested in matching additional funds to this program, because I can attest to you, as many of you in the room can as well, that the need is definitely still there. Our work with donors, students, and nonprofits is premised on our own financial strength and an ever-expanding pool of permanent community capital. Financial stewardship is at the heart of our work, and we take it very seriously. So to tell you more about our financial performance, I'm pleased to welcome to the stage our outgoing treasurer, Brian Campbell.
Thank you, Shelley, and good evening. It's so great to see so many people here, donors, community leaders, and people who have done so many things in the past for this great organization. I am the treasurer, current treasurer of the Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation, and I just wanted to make a few comments tonight about what we've done in 2016 and what we expect to do going forward. You know, a community foundation is both a philanthropic institution and a financial institution. As stewards of tens of millions of dollars of community capital entrusted to us by donors over the last 50 years, we take our role very seriously. We are deeply thankful for the continued confidence you place in us by entrusting your philanthropic assets with the foundation. If you were to refer to pages 6 and 7 of your program, which most of you have, you will see some more financial information about the Community Foundation. And one of the things I am particularly interested in is that first and second line on the top, on the left side of total assets. When you have an organization, you know, that has gone total assets from $101 million up from $75.6 million, that's quite an expression of faith in what we are doing. Our investment portfolio added nearly $5.5 million to our community funds, ensuring that our impact can continue to grow for many years within our community. And speaking of growth, our mission calls on us to combine new prudent investing strategies with donor engagement to attract new financial support. Our engagement efforts in 2016 produced one of the best fundraising results in our history, $7.8 million. Congratulations to our board and to our wonderful, wonderful staff. For many, many thanks to all of you for making this happen and for what those gifts make possible for our community. Our focus on a strong financial position is, of course, in service to the execution of our external mission. And to tell us more about how we use our permanent community capital to help improve the quality of life in Washtenaw County, I'm pleased to introduce you to Jillian Rosen, who is our Director of Community Investment. Jillian?
Thank you, Brian. Hi, everyone. The Community Foundation exists to enrich the quality of life in Washtenaw County. Our vision for community impact is to develop a deep well of knowledge based on community data and community voice. We want to use this knowledge not just to enhance our own grant making, but to help all of you in all of your own personal philanthropy. We're excited to share with you tonight a positive community data trend that's the result of many, many institutions working closely together to address a critical local issue, namely housing and homelessness. We want to applaud the work of the Office of Community and Economic Development, Washtenaw Housing Alliance, the Continuum of Care, and the many nonprofits focused on housing and homelessness, who last year joined a campaign Built for Zero to functionally end chronic and veterans homelessness. Since that time, our community has made real and measurable progress. Based on the 2016 point-in-time count data, veteran homelessness has declined twice as fast as total homelessness within Washtenaw County, while chronic homelessness has declined more than 3 times as fast. We're proud that the Community Foundation has played a role in this work through our participation in coordinated funding partnership, as well as support by some of our key charitable funds, including the Sister Evangelist Fund for Permanent Supportive Housing Services and the Religious Action for Affordable Housing Fund. But most important has been the tireless, and I know tireless efforts of the many nonprofits who work every day to serve those who lack stable and secure housing. Now is the time for our community to continue its commitment to these outcomes and efforts to ensure that more individuals and families are able to access and maintain stable housing. Please join me in congratulating our partners, especially our nonprofit partners, in their great and effective work in this area. As we celebrate and support progress, we also want to keep our eyes on challenging trends that also deserve attention. For example, we all know how important diversity is to the continued success of our community. Yet significant disparities exist across our diverse county, and a startling example regards health and wellness. Communities of color as a whole in Washtenaw County have an average life expectancy of 66 years. This is 14 years less than the life expectancy of white and Caucasian communities. While this data is a call to action, the question is, what kind of action? And even more specifically, what kind of action for philanthropy? And that's where the power of community voice comes in. As Neil mentioned a few moments ago, last year we undertook our first Community Voice initiative to hear from 4 communities throughout our county regarding their health and wellness. These community conversations were supported by the Washtenaw County Public Health Department and led by local leaders in their home communities, and raised up the wisdom and knowledge that we know already exists in the communities that we serve. So a little bit about what we learned. The south of Michigan Ave neighborhood, this community prioritized access to healthcare services, information, and access to healthy food. To advance on these goals, the neighborhood is piloting a community day with a mobile farm stand and group fitness activities. The Whitmore Lake community voiced their need for increased awareness of existing resources, including healthcare access, physical activity, and healthy food. The community has pushed forward and begun a partnership with a Michigan Medicine student-run clinic and has already piloted a flu vaccination clinic this past fall. The Latino community, which spans all of Washtenaw County, has lifted up 2 main priorities: addressing poor nutritional habits and increasing community connectedness and organization. This past September, on a lovely day, an open market event was held at the Ypsilanti Downtown Farmers Market, hosted by Idea Buenos Vecinos, that included events such as healthy cooking demonstrations, youth activities, and awareness of local Latino farmers who are helping to contribute to the local economy. This event had over 1,000 people attend, one of the largest market days on record. And lastly, the neighborhood of West Willow articulated prioritizing housing and infrastructure conditions, youth recreation and development, and personal property safety. This community has implemented projects for youth programming, as well as piloting an exciting lawn care and snow removal service for seniors. A final trend we want to share with you is regarding a shift in age demographics that's happening at a very rapid pace right now. Between 2015 and 2040, the 55 and up population in Washtenaw County will have doubled. Just as notable, the 75 and up portion of that population will grow by a rate of 227%. Washtenaw County is already a great destination for retirees, but the rapid growth of the senior population will undoubtedly call for new ways to ensure that vulnerable seniors in our community have vibrant and active lives even as they age further. To start getting ahead of this issue, we recently conducted a series of surveys and interviews with mostly vulnerable seniors throughout Washtenaw County, as Neil mentioned, in partnership with University of Michigan's Ginsberg Center and the Jewish Family Services. Here's some of the initial things that we've learned. If an older adult resides in the zip codes of 48197 and 48198, they statistically report an overall lower quality of life than those that live in other zip codes across the county. If an older adult is financially vulnerable, so for example, those that utilize rent assistance, Medicaid, and or report not having enough money to pay their bills, also statistically report significant lower indicators on quality of life compared to their peers who are not financially vulnerable. There was one unexpected finding that we want to go deeper to, and this is a protective factor that we found, that for those seniors that are either zip code vulnerable or financially vulnerable, there is the power of volunteering. Those seniors who reported that they volunteer and are zip code vulnerable or financially vulnerable report much higher rates of quality of life than those who do not volunteer. And in the coming months, we will take this question to the seniors themselves to ask what it is that they want in their life. What is it that philanthropy and what is it that the community can do to help enrich their quality of life as they age here in our community? Through our community voice work, we hope to share much more with you in the coming months and in the coming years to help improve all of our contributions to Washtenaw County. In summary, in the coming years, we'll seek to expand our use of community-level data, nonprofit sector data, and community voice across a wide range of issues to identify the best roles for philanthropy to enhance the lives of everyone in Washtenaw County. As we continue to boost our and your knowledge of community trends and solutions, we also seek to continually improve the impact of each and every grant that we make in the community. So to tell you more, let's welcome back Neil to the stage.
Thank you, Jillian. I hope you're getting a flavor for the kinds of stories and the kinds of information we want to share with all of you, not just for the Foundation's work, but also in the decisions you make around philanthropy and your awareness of what's going on in our backyard. As Jillian noted, our impact often culminates through the grants we make to excellent nonprofits and the scholarships we distribute to really promising students. What you may not realize is just how diverse our grant making is. Unlike a private foundation that generally has a single source of funding, a community foundation has many sources of funding, each one representing a community member's amazing story and their intent. By the numbers, this translates into over 550 charitable funds at the foundation, which last year produced over 860 grants and scholarships totaling nearly $3.8 million. And it gets even more amazing. Much of those distributions were overseen and guided by the active engagement of 49 separate volunteer committees. When you think about the foundation, don't think of us as just a couple of staff or a staff and a board. We really are a conglomerate of charitable activities that come together to enrich the quality of life in Washtenaw County. And tonight, through the exercise in the lobby that we call Choose Your Impact, you got a chance to taste a little bit of the experience of how we put our permanent capital to work. In 2015, we actually started doing this exercise with the audiences at our annual community meeting, both to make it more engaging, but also, frankly, to start hearing back from the community on some of our broader practices. In 2015, we actually posed the question, how would you prioritize different traditional charitable subject matters? And the audience voted, and as you can see from the result, It's no surprise that we had a very broad and diverse result, which absolutely reflects the Foundation's day-to-day experience in working with donors. Fast forward one more year to 2016, and last year we changed it up just a little bit. We didn't just ask the audience to vote, we paired the voting with $10,000 in actual grant monies that would be allocated per the audience vote. Now last year we actually changed up the lens that we asked the audience to use, and we focused on 4 priority initiatives of the Community Foundation. You've already heard tonight about coordinated funding and the Community Scholarship Program. I'll talk about rewarding success in a moment. I just want to mention our Cultural Economic Development Initiative, which is very important to us. Cultural economic development is born out of the idea that the nonprofit arts and culture sector in Washtenaw County is critical for a vibrant and successful community. We commissioned a study that measured the annual economic output of the nonprofit arts and culture sector, which is $100 million a year, and enough audience to fill nearly 18 football stadiums every year. We remain committed to arts and culture through cultural economic development. Tonight, we wanted to present you with a different lens, where we talked about subject matter and we talked about initiatives, priorities before. Tonight, we wanted to focus on actually the nature of the grant support that we distribute. We enjoy these exercises with you because it allows you to walk in our shoes and hopefully feel some of the tensions and challenges of distributing a relatively limited amount of money across some important initiatives. Our board and staff have actually focused in on 3 key strategic ways of distributing our competitive grant funds. The first is impact through strong nonprofits. Nonprofits for years have informed the foundation that too much of their funding is restrictive and prevents them from being at their best. National dialogues and best practices all point in the same direction. So last year, we decided to launch a program that responded to these ongoing concerns. It's an operating support program that we call Rewarding Success, and based on a robust analysis of each applicant's financial strength, program quality, and leadership, we award the highest scoring nonprofits $10,000 grants with absolutely no strings attached. If you believe in strong nonprofits, if you believe in robust community organizations, you start understanding why it's so important to deploy flexible capital that enables nonprofits to be at their best. We also enjoy supporting many more nonprofits through our capacity building program. This program seeks to enhance the effectiveness of many of our great organizations and actually continues a tradition of over a decade of doing capacity building for nonprofits, a tradition that we're really proud of. Our capacity building currently focuses on the same 3 areas we just described to you because we believe so strongly in those being predictors of success. Those are leadership, program quality, and financial strength. And finally, as we continue to dedicate most of our resources to all the great nonprofits doing excellent work, we do want to keep pushing the envelope on innovations that could potentially leap our community forward on sticky issues. So we started what we call a Bold Ideas program. It's an initiative that seeks to provide what's admittedly higher risk capital towards promising innovations in our community that potentially represent fresh and scalable approaches to traditionally challenging hurdles. We hope that all of you who participated tonight enjoyed thinking about these 3 flavors of grant making. And so without further ado, let's find out if you guys got it right or not. And the results are, no surprise. Boy, you guys really took a stand, didn't you? It's, let me read it just to make sure you all understand the results. The Strengthening the Nonprofit Sector, we call our capacity building program, garnered 38% of your vote. And remember, that's paired with $10,000 in actual grant money, so you have just committed $3,800 towards our capacity building competitive programs in the coming year. The Rewarding Success program, which provides no strings attached operating grants, garnered 31% of your vote, or $3,100. And the Encouraging Innovation, the Bold Ideas program, attracted 31% of your vote, or exactly $3,100. So let me tell you what happens next. We will deploy this $10,000 just as you see on the screen, and we will entrust it to the distribution committee our central competitive grant-making committee that is comprised of both volunteer trustees and community volunteers. They will oversee and review all applications across our programs. They will determine the specific nonprofits that receive the grants that you have allocated tonight. So stay tuned through our e-newsletter and through social media throughout the next 12 months. We will report back to all of you on which nonprofits actually received your grant allocations. So thank you all for being a part of what is literally the largest grant-making committee in our history. Tonight you've heard a lot about grants and scholarships, and that makes a lot of sense because it's been at the heart of the Community Foundation model for over a century, and it will continue to be at the heart. But boy, what if there were a third means for unleashing more impact by foundations, a way that leveraged our existing models that created a new stream of impact that doesn't detract from grants or scholarships? So we're really excited tonight to debut an emerging third way that the foundation has been working on, and in this case, a video is worth 1,000 words.
We're in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and this is the Ann Arbor Art Center. We're a 107-year-old organization. We are a fine art organization that serves the downtown local community.
We're the Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation. We're a foundation dedicated to improving the quality of life in Washtenaw County. We have donors who basically want to support the community in general, and they give to some of our broadest funds. We have other donors who have specific passions. So if education is their passion, they may have established a scholarship fund. We have funds for the environment, for the arts, for human services and the social safety net, of course, for civic engagement, and literally dozens of other subjects. We offer a lot of different avenues for donors to find a way to give back.
One of the big projects that we had was renovating the third floor because we were adding some new arts programming that combined art and technology. We had a builder that came in and they were going to do the third floor in 3 sections. Well, from a cost efficiency standpoint, it made more sense to do more at one time rather than break it up into 3. I had had some conversation with Neil Hajra, who's a wonderful leader of that organization, and Neil has a business background, and he had talked about, more than just being a granting organization, what if they could get involved and provide low-cost loans for community nonprofit organizations. It was exactly what we needed, so we got together. They turned that around in less than a week, and we were able to get all of the work done.
There's a whole range of organizations that can benefit from impact investing. They include examples like our recent loan to the Ann Arbor Art Center that's using it to accelerate some capital projects. There's a whole other group of organizations that aren't nonprofits that can also benefit from impact investing. One example is a for-profit business that's employing individuals in a distressed community, or it could be a business that's participating in the redevelopment of a distressed downtown area. So impact investing actually represents a much wider spectrum of possibilities than traditional grant making.
Because the space was now so beautiful, we had so many more facility rentals that we were able to pay the loan off within about 3 months.
The next generation of donors is really interested in how foundations use their capital for things beyond grants. They're asking all the right questions on what are we doing for our communities beyond our traditional grant making. So we think that impact investing will make us even more appealing as a partner to a large generation of new philanthropists that are in our area and that want to see us make the most of our capital.
So we've gone from $600,000 organization to a $1.2 million organization in a matter of 3.5 years. And I have to attribute a lot of that to that early support. They believed in me early on, and it was that belief in me that really helped set the Art Center on an amazing trajectory of success.
How about Marie Clough and that Ann Arbor Art Center? They have been amazing partners in our pilot work around nonprofit loan making. Thank you so much, Marie. As an aside, I think of myself as a pretty high energy guy, but whenever I meet with Marie, I reach for the coffee right away. She is really something else. Thanks, Marie. We view nonprofit loan making not as a replacement for grants and scholarships, no way. It's a supplement to and an enhancement for. In fact, I should also mention we do not have any intention of replacing local banks and their great work. In fact, what we hope to see is budding new partnerships between our nonprofit loan program and local financial institutions. So I'm pleased tonight to let you know that this pilot effort that you just heard about in the video is graduating into a standing formal initiative of the foundation. Following further development in the spring and summer, including continued nonprofit feedback, we will announce the formal parameters for our nonprofit loan program this fall. Because this is new territory for us and because it is still a growing experiment, we will not be issuing loans from our permanent capital funds. Fortunately, we have the honor of working with many forward-looking donors, including one who made possible the pilot work you just heard about with Marie. This donor has also committed a sizable sum of non-permanent funds to serve as our core capital for loan making. That donor is Fran Lowson, who established the revolver fund at the foundation in 2011. And what you might really find interesting is that just a few years after, Fran actually relocated to the East Coast, but she chose to direct all of her family's philanthropic assets to our foundation. As she explains it, she's just as excited as we are about finding new ways for foundations to increase their impacts on their communities. How excited is Fran? So much that she has allocated $500,000 to serve as the fuel for our new nonprofit loan program. Fran, please stand up so that we can all congratulate you for moving us forward. So we chose to end the night on this emerging note, not because it's more important than our other work. It is not. All of our work is meaningful and near and dear to our hearts. But we hope it puts an exclamation point on a broader theme. The Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation was built on over 50 years of charitable community members, as well as tireless work by generations of trustees, of staff, and of volunteers. Rest assured that those who are entrusted with the foundation presently will work relentlessly to keep enhancing the impact of your community foundation for Washtenaw County. We are grateful to all of you. We are grateful to the event supporters for tonight for giving us the chance to share. Thank you all, and good night.